Oh, I am still getting dressed. Hello. I'm putting my shoes on. I usually don't even wear shoes. I wear like some shorts under my
I don't even
dresses.
know why you bother wearing anything below the belt. Seriously, just
I
relax. It's
don't.
it's hot in
I don't.
California, you know.
So I'm putting on my red bottoms.
There you go.
I got my fancy dress on and my fancy shoes on, fully dressed.
We
Put
got
my
a great guest tonight who's going to
That's
be in
why.
studio. Yeah, he's going to be in studio with you, like literally there in the same room as you. So it's
Yeah.
probably a good idea that you're wearing at least some form of clothing as a barrier. You need a barrier. You know
That's right.
they don't call this man Big Daddy for. There
Ah!
we go. There we go.
This man is coming here. I
I hope he's wearing that same outfit. I
no, when
hope he's. We should have told him it's like Big Daddy. We want you coming as the Taste of Chocolate album cover because that is hot. I mean,
yeah,
man,
he was Big Daddy Kane. I had mad posters of Big Daddy Kane on my walls, along with like Michael Jackson and Elder Barge. And yeah, he at one point in my adolescence, he was gonna be my husband. So
nice,
this
nice.
will be interesting.
This will be. You could consummate that relationship after the show or during. Then we'll get hella ratings. Oh my god, are you
Mad views,
kidding me?
mad views.
Mad views. We talk
Well,
about this show. We almost called this show "Sex with Sam." It literally could be that.
yeah, well, I don't know. That's doubtful, but it is certainly fun to play with mentally.
That is a that is a
uh,
that is a good. You know what the thing about Big Daddy is in that picture? He's sexy. He's like that quintessential sexy black man, but he's not like threatening to white people.
he's
You
a
know.
non-threatening, sexy black man.
Because a lot of white people are like, man, that black dude is gonna fuck me up, And but no, in that picture, he looks like no, he'll caress me gently. Uh,
Let's see that picture again. The funny thing is, when he walks in, he's got to walk directly behind me.
uh
So, wouldn't it be funny if this was on the screen?
huh.
So, today's topic is appropriately smooth
I know that's
operating
weird.
with Big Daddy Kane. And we're going to talk about the game. The game.
Smooth
Smooth.
operating.
Yeah. And so I'm so excited. In fact, I think that I hear commotion at the door. And so the shit is getting ready to go down.
It's
But
happening. And
no,
Mr. Chocolate Man himself.
Mr. Chocolate Man himself. That's right. The legend. The legend is an understatement. It really is. I mean, even just to say special guest, like I feel so inadequate. I don't even know
What's
how to introduce.
crazy is that we have this is we're like 7 episodes deep and we got freaking Big Daddy Kane on the show. You know what I mean? It's like that's crazy. Is that him right there?
Yeah, he just walked by, but the audience couldn't see that, so producer cut away from me.
Yeah, no, they can see that jacket. I saw a jacket go by.
Yeah,
I knew it. I felt the presence. I felt it right there. Big
I don't even
Daddy's in
know
the
how
house.
to feel because like I said, I feel so inadequate in just to even introduce this this like you said, this fine chocolate black man. Like you said,
I
I
didn't
didn't say
say
that.
I didn't say fine chocolate black man. I said in that photo he looks like a sexy black man who is also non-threatening to white people. So that like a white person could look at that and get turned on and not feel afraid. That's what I was like.
I can't relate.
Yeah, of course
Uh,
not.
but so our guest is getting mic'd up right now, and
All
again,
right.
I feel so inadequate to even introduce him as I'm hooking up his headphones. But this guy, legend again, is an understatement because he literally influenced like all of hip hop,
Yeah.
like all of hip hop.
Yeah.
I
You
mean,
can hear a little bit of Big Daddy in almost everybody.
everybody.
It's
That's right.
really.
Yeah, Jay-Z, like all these cats that are huge today and considered legends today were influenced by this man. So, can you hear?
Yeah, a little.
A little.
Yeah. Maybe I don't know. Maybe it was has Post Malone really been influenced by him?
Without Post Malone, not who? Who?
You know,
So
maybe
without
not. Maybe not Bad Baby. You know, maybe she probably
Bad
doesn't know.
or the baby or little baby,
Right.
all of these guys, everybody knows who Kane is and everybody's familiar. So without further ado, you guys give a warm welcome. I'm so excited for the brother Big Daddy Kane, the legend, the one and only. How are you, my friend?
Great, great. Glad to be here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't get a chance to give you a proper greeting when we came in, but I don't mind giving you a hug on camera right now. It's so good to see you again. I'm so grateful for you to come. And you flew in today, did you not?
Yes, ma'am. Yeah, today.
So I had to give it some thought. We never connected on, our pre-call in terms of what the topic was going to be. So appropriately, the topic of today's show is smooth operating with Big Daddy Kane. And I hope you are prepared to talk about the game that is the love game. This
Okay.
is a show about sex, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So, but you're a married man, are you not?
Yes.
You're a married man. You have a handsome 8-year-old son.
Yes.
So that tells me that it might be a sign of how long have you been married?
I've been married 11 years.
11 years.
Yeah.
So we'll talk about everything 11 years prior to when you got married, right? We're not gonna we'll talk about those days. Smooth operator.
Okay.
Do you remember writing do you remember writing? What were you doing? Where were you at when you wrote that song?
I honestly don't remember where I was when I wrote it, but I remember, wanting to use that Mary Jane Girls tune and reaching out to Rick James and getting his blessing, and I just tried to put something together real slick, that I thought that the ladies and the brothers would enjoy,
I actually saw you on another interview. I don't know whose interview it was, whose podcast, but you had a funny story about that interaction with Rick James. You called him.
Oh yeah, because we had some issues prior with a staple singer sample, and Prince wouldn't clear it. So I was like, just to make sure, because I really want to do this record, let me call Rick, and told him I wanted to use all night long, and would it be okay with him? And he was like, I want all them bitches shit. I want all them bitches shit. You use it, Big Daddy. Use it. Whatever you want to do. You need to use it in my house. It was a bigger record for them.
He said, I want all them bitches shit.
He said, I own.
Own.
Yeah. I own all them bitches shit. Yeah. Yeah, Rick, Rick crazy. What was crazy. Rest in peace.
Yeah. And
Wow.
tell us what the song is about. For those that don't know, I don't know about this Gen Z that we're dealing with. But
well, I mean, smooth operator is just basically, about being a smooth operator. Just being that, that laid back dude that, know how to, get in where he fit in. Yeah.
And so you clearly are the smooth operator. But tell me about this, because I was talked to my girlfriend the other day, and there's a funny dynamic when you come up as a famous man. In my teens, you were like one of the most famous cats out there. Like grew up bumping your stuff. And in fact, I grew up in North Carolina. We might have met way back in the day, like in my late teens, early 20s. But
it's possible.
That was your stomping ground back then. Yeah.
Well, I used to come to North Carolina. I used to come through a lot in the mid '90s. I'd say.
Yeah. Right. That would be about right. So,
hey, we got a co-host on this show. I was just saying, we.
Yeah, I totally forgot that.
I know. You're all starstruck, and you got Big Daddy Kane in your house and everything. But I'm sitting here. Hey,
what's happening, brother?
How's it going? Hey, should we call you Kane or Big Daddy or BDK or?
Well, she'll say Big Daddy, and you can say Kane.
That works for me. Yeah, I can see. As soon as you walked in the door, Sam is like, "All right, I'm gonna forget this white dude's even on the
I,
phone." You know?
to be honest with you, I did. I did forget for a hot second. So it's good that you chimed in. But I wanted to finish asking Kane. So, but tell me about this. You're so famous. Women literally throw themselves at you. I mean, how much game do you really need to have if bitches just throwing the pussy at you?
How much game do you need to
How
have?
much game do you really need to have?
I mean, it's nothing like giving someone an orgasm, because I mean, it's there's certain things that everyone want to hear. There's certain things that a man want to hear, you know. So I mean, when you know how to appeal to someone's nature, you got them, but at the age of 52, when I appeal to someone's nature, I try not to abuse that privilege. I try to use it in the right way,
Sure,
where it's about something productive, for both of us.
sure, sure. But back in the day, I mean, like when you
Oh, it was
were
a
a
whole
young
different story
man,
then.
like how say again?
I said it was a whole different story then.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a
Yeah.
whole different story.
Well, it's like you were kind of you were at that age and at that level of fame that you didn't have to work for anything.
Right.
As far like you would just I mean I would imagine people just throw themselves at you, and if there's any kind of challenge, it's how do you decide who to let in? Is that is that what the life was like back then?
Um, yeah, it was, it was fun, it was entertaining, and at some point, it started getting boring. So then I would have to, create different things to make it exciting, But it was really, a real blessing though, it was.
kind of kind of blessing that the rest of us can only dream of, man.
Yeah.
No, I mean, in all honesty, I mean, just to know that you have people that support you, that's serious and that's strong, it's a beautiful thing,
Yeah.
and then like,
Yeah.
to see that like 34 years later, you still have that impact on a lot of people,
Yeah.
it's cool, real
Really
cool.
amazing. I mean, my kids know some of the lyrics to your
Oh, that's
song.
beautiful.
That's
That's beautiful.
crazy.
Mhm.
My kids
Every time I go to work, I cannot stop. That song pops into my head every single time, every single shift. It is I work. It's I can't. And what's funny is like that's not just because we're doing this interview either. I mean, I grew up I was in New York. I came up in New York. I was a teenager around the time when you and Biz and all those people start coming up, and I've been following hip hop my whole life. I might not look like it, but I'm just saying, like that song, that life, that energy, man, it's been with me my whole life, and yeah, like every single job, as soon as I say something, it just pops into my head, I get the job done.
Well, I
That's the
appreciate the
influence.
support. I appreciate it, man. That's a beautiful thing, man. I appreciate it. Thank you.
No,
Now,
thank you. Thank you for your contribution to our culture. Thank you.
My
that's
man.
real. That's so real. I mean, and then like just waiting for you to show up tonight. I'm playing on the Pandora, the Big Daddy Kane radio, right? So it just plays a lot of your old songs, and man, the feeling that it gives. Like you leaving people with something that they're gonna take all the way to the grave, and then leave with their children as well. It's really amazing.
I mean, it's really truly a blessing to like meet someone and hear them say that you got me through high school, or
Yeah,
you got
Hmm.
me through college,
yeah,
or I was stationed in Kuwait and you got me through that.
right.
It's beautiful. Like that's a real blessing to know that your music could soothe someone's soul through a difficult time or a trying time, or just a trying to better yourself and educate yourself, whatever the time, whatever you're going through, to know that that my music can play a part in your life, and I mean that's when you know that what you're doing, really has value,
That's right.
you know.
That's
Yeah,
right. Right. That's what it's for, right? You just leave to leave that legacy.
exactly,
To leave that
exactly.
legacy. And so with all these women pouring themselves all over you all throughout,
Back to
your
that.
career, how do you
We
pick Brian, to kind of on the cuffs of Brian's question, how do you find a wife 11 years ago? Like, how do you look at that pool of women and pick one? Like, were you looking for her? How'd that happen?
No, I wouldn't say that I was looking for a wife. I just met someone that I found, interesting and I was attracted to, and I just admired their sense of humor. I admired her sense of humor, and like whenever we made eye contact, it was that that vibe,
Mhm.
So it was that thing, like it's sometimes you can just feel a certain energy,
Sure, the
yeah,
chemistry. Yeah,
and that's
chemistry,
exactly what I
undeniable.
felt with my
Mhm.
wife.
That's amazing. Well, congratulations. And is that your only marriage? Have you been married
That I know of.
that you know?
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
well,
Yeah. Yeah,
This
that's
man, some
the
people have
first time
kids
I
they know.
remember getting married.
Some people have kids they don't know about. This man has marriages he doesn't know about.
no. Well,
Nah, I
congratulations.
mean that's the only marriage I remember, being a part of. Yeah, yeah.
That's
Well,
great.
congratulations on finding your queen, and that's always a beautiful thing. What a life you've lived.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
Yeah.
It's been interesting. It's been
yeah,
an interesting life.
I
Yeah.
was listening to your podcast. So you have a brand new podcast as well. That's super exciting and growing in popularity very fast. I think your first episode made the top 5 on iTunes
Yeah,
within a
that was a
week.
blessing. I thank everyone for supporting, and I hope that they really enjoyed it and keep, listening, to all the stories. It's called, Did I Ever Tell You the One About Big Daddy Kane?
Yeah,
Yeah,
available everywhere. I know you mentioned, right? It's available everywhere. Everywhere I
I
looked, I
believe
saw
so. I
it.
know it's
Yeah,
definitely on Apple and Spotify.
sure. Yeah, I think it's everywhere.
Yeah,
It's up in the algorithm, and it's good. It's a good friggin' podcast. I was
thank you.
listening to it, and you go back. You go way back to.
Oh yeah, I told a lot of stories that I have never really told in
Yeah.
interviews. But I think the most amazing thing is all the sound effects. When I'm talking about the block parties, you're hearing the music playing and talking about
Yeah.
the ice cream truck, and since it's in 5.1 surround, it's like you hearing the music in front of you, and you hear the ice cream truck behind you and stuff like that.
Okay. Yeah.
So it kind of makes you feel like you're actually there. You
It's a
know.
great
Yeah, you got
production.
some real production on that.
It
That's
really is a
some
great
real
production.
production.
Thank you. Yeah, just trying to make it exciting and entertaining. I know a lot of people, they put their earbuds in, when they're on the treadmill and listen to a podcast. But I wanted this to be something where, like, where if you're not, looking for a distraction, just something, you just at home, you can just sit on the couch, lay your head back, and just give it a listen and feel entertained.
It's fully
Mhm.
entertaining, a fully comprehensive entertaining experience. Yeah, you put
Thank you so
a lot of
much.
work into that.
Thank
Very,
you.
very, very well done.
Yeah.
So it's so good to see you. Why are you in LA? I was so excited to hear that you'd be in studio. That was kind of a last minute thing.
Oh yeah, well I figured since I'm gonna be on your side of town, why not make it extra special? Let's just do it face to face, because I miss those days anyway.
I know,
You know what I'm
right?
saying?
It's so
Yeah.
crazy. I was just talking to somebody today about when have seen people nowadays. You don't realize it's been a whole year and some change,
Yeah.
and what a feeling it gives you, a new feeling to see people face to face. It's great, great seeing you. So what's next, Kane? What you working on?
Well, at the moment, I'm finishing up my documentary. Um, it's called Paragraphs I Manifest, and we're
Okay,
basically talking about lyrics in hip hop. And I went to I interviewed the pioneers, like Melly Mel and Grandmaster Caz. I interviewed the battle rappers,
Hmm.
like Goods the Animal, Averb,
okay,
um, a lot of discussion with brothers from my era, such as Dougie Fresh, KRS-One, um, and even we have Eminem. They gave a great interview as well, and it's all talking all about lyrics and hip hop and how we think the process of putting together a great
Hmm.
song and writing, and I think it's very educational for the younger generation that's entering into hip
Sounds
hop.
awesome.
yeah.
Yeah,
And then
That sounds really cool.
yeah,
thank you.
And then I think that's where your greatest influence for me, the lyricism
Yeah.
was just uncanny.
Oh
And
yeah, he's a
I think, I
wordsmith.
mean, I don't know all the history of hip hop, but I know some, and I feel like you were, sort of what Richard Pryor did to comedy.
Yeah.
He changed the face of comedy by personifying like objects and animals. And so when you came on the scene with your lyrics, everybody had to step up. Like
Well,
everybody had to step up.
it's interesting about the lyrics because you mentioned Eminem a minute ago in the documentary. I only recently was googling a little bit, and I saw the interview where you found out Eminem counts you as a major influence, and that was interesting to me because I hadn't really considered that lineage. Going from however Eminem got here from you, but I do see similarities because he's known for his lyrics. If you look
Yeah.
back, and your body of work, you're just an incredible lyricist, and it's always been like really strong writing.
Yeah.
That's really moved your message.
Oh no, thank you. No, I mean, he broke it down to me in the interview. He said some interesting things that caught me off guard. Like, when we were talking, he was quoting some of my lyrics, and then he started talking like he started really dissecting some lyrics and saying like, no one had ever did this when you said boom boom boom
Right.
boom boom, and
Hmm.
I'm sitting there like, oh shit, I did that. Damn, okay. You know, I mean,
Yeah,
it's something that I guess I never really even paid attention
you
to,
never
but
know.
he acknowledged, but
That's
yeah,
amazing.
Yeah.
great conversation though.
Yeah, you never know what's going to touch people. That's
Exactly.
just people. I'm sure Sam's had these experiences where she gets off stage and it's like, that joke you told, it really kind of resonated. And it's the same thing. It really is.
Yeah, that's never happened, but one day maybe it will.
It's happened to me. Come on, I know it's happened to you.
So how long have you guys been filming this documentary? How long have you been working on it?
We started. Um, hmm, I want to say maybe late. No, no, I think it was. I think it was early 2020,
Okay.
and right when we had interviews with Eminem and another artist, lined up, this pandemic thing happened and it deaded everything.
Yeah.
Then once the world started freeing up a little bit, we've reached back to M people and they was like, okay, cool, y'all come on in, you know, dude showed love. Dude showed a lot of love and made it real simple.
What dude? Who you working
Eminem,
with?
I mean, I'm sorry.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, he showed a lot of love and made
Mhm.
it real simple. And yeah, we had a great interview. And we almost done. I just have one more to do, and then that's that. It's in the can,
Nice.
ready for editing.
Wow.
Nice.
Yeah.
And where can we find that? Do you know?
Um, I believe it's going to be available on Netflix.
Okay.
You know,
Wow.
well, I mean, don't quote me on that again.
Okay, we'll find
Got
out.
to
But
keep
we
our eyes out for that.
what we
Yeah.
do have also, I've been working with BET and Shakim, Queen Latifah's manager.
Sure.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And we're gonna do the Juice Crew biopic, which would be the
Oh wow.
stories on my life, Biz Markie, MC Shan, Roxanne Shante,
Mm,
Yeah.
Cool G Rap, Mr. Magic, Marley Marl, Fly
dope.
Tie, yeah,
Dope.
yeah.
Wow.
And it's
Like
like
the
the
it's the
way the brother,
soundtrack of my childhood right
yeah.
there.
Yeah.
And Jesse Collins from BET, he got the same brother that did the New Edition and Bobby Brown's story to write it, and like what he's creating, it's so amazing because he's going so much deeper than just who the Juice Crew was.
Mm,
He's taking it to what the Juice Crew meant.
okay.
Because I mean, a lot of people don't know that Mr. Magic is the first person to play hip hop on the radio. Run DMC, Houdini,
Oh,
Fat Boys,
snap.
Beastie Boys, all of them were broken by Mr. Magic because he was the only on air jock playing hip hop,
Okay.
in the early 80s. And, he was responsible for so many people's success, and then, finally saying, I'm tired of just playing people music. We need our own artists. And then they getting Shantae, Roxanne Shantae, and
Hmm.
and then we all just we became like limbs off of her tree.
Right.
Next MC Shand and Craig G, then Biz Markie, then
Wow.
Coogee Rap, then Mead and Master Ace.
He was a pioneer.
Yeah,
right. Molly Mall was a pioneer.
And Molly Mall being, that super producer where like I guess I can't remember whether it was Rick Rubin or whoever sampled the on Curtis Blow If I Rule the World. Then here comes Marley with a much more grittier sampler using the SP, which had that underground grit to it, and the way he started changing up the way samples were done. Marley basically brought it back to the park jam where the DJ cutting up the beat and you just rhyming over the break. Well, now he is reproducing the beat in the drum machine and you rhyming over that. So like Marley, like that was so innovative and like and that really much birthed like producers such as DJ Premier, Pete Rock, Q-Tip.
Okay. Right.
Yeah.
Right. That's amazing. I can't wait to check that out. Wow. So you've been busy during this pandemic and you're still rolling. We got to check back and
I
about our project that was on hold. Go ahead, Dr. Brian.
No, I'm just saying. I'm just like it's funny because I got a little studio audience here. I'm not gonna lie. I got my family and some neighbors. They're just chilling, watching this live. But I kick back like this while you're talking, and my girlfriend is like, "Put your arms down. Put your arms down." It's like you don't understand. Like listen to this man talk. like I really just want to hear these stories. This is great.
Oh, thank you, brother. Thank you.
Yeah, I mean every
name much love to your family, man.
I appreciate that. Yeah, every name you mentioned, this reminds me of a record, that I owned once, or a cassette tape, or a bootleg I picked up. It's like, yeah, I never bootlegged yours though. I always paid for yours. I'm just saying. But those mixtapes you pick up on the street, like.
Oh yeah.
So I want to ask you this. I want you to go way back. I want you to, do you remember the first time that you thought to yourself, like how old you must have been a kid, that you thought to yourself, I want to be a poet. I want to be a rap artist. I want to be a lyricist. How did it start?
Well, when I first was introduced to hip hop, I want to say it was probably around like 77. So you seeing cats in the park jam playing, music and bringing back the break part, things of that nature. And I'm like, this is dope. So I convinced my uncle to buy me some turntables, and I had turntables and trying to DJ. And someone broke into my grandmother's house and stole my turntables. Oh. And they were expensive, so I knew I wasn't getting no more no time soon.
And how old were you then?
This is like I think like 81. So I don't know. 77. So, okay. I was born in 68.
Okay. So you were like 10, 11?
Like 13.
10, 12, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm like, I'm not getting nothing new. So I'm just, just enjoying hip hop. And then my cousin Murdoch, he starts rapping.
Okay.
So since he was my older cousin, I really looked up to him. I said, let me try. But he told me that I was too young. So the two dudes that he was rapping with, I got it in my mind, well, if I could eat them up in a battle, he'll put me down with them. So I just started off writing battle rhymes. I started off writing battle rhymes so I could battle the two dudes that he was rhyming with.
So the first time you wrote lyrics, it was because you was trying to wipe the floor with
going
somebody.
At yeah.
That's dope. That is so dope. And do you still have those lyrics written down somewhere? Did you ever save that?
Nah. I like that's something I always commended.
Do you remember who the two guys were?
It was brothers from around the corner from me. One name was Spencer, and the other one name was Owen.
Yeah. So did they ever go on or?
Nah, I mean, after a while they stopped. Because I mean, after I battled them and told my cousin, "Yo, I beat your crew. Can I be down now?" He said he tells me, "Oh, I ain't doing that shit no more. I'm playing basketball now."
Hilarious. Yeah. You wiped the floor so hard when them niggas ain't quit.
No. My cousin.
Oh, your cousin quit.
Yeah, my cousin. He told me he wasn't thinking about rap no more. Yeah.
So it was. So he just got a wild hair, and it just happened to rub up on you close enough
Yeah,
Catch
but I stayed with it. You know,
Yeah.
he moved on and started, focusing on basketball because I think he might have been playing for his high school, something like that. But I stayed with it, because like a lot of my friends, because I'm younger than him. Like he probably got me by about 5 years.
Mm.
Because that's how I used to go to the park jams with him.
Yeah.
I'm like 9 years old out at night.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
So that was your first time when you wiped the floor with these guys. That was your first time performing in
Well,
front of
honestly, I mean, in their defense, I only battled one. Me and Spence, the only ones
Oh,
to
okay. It was
battle.
only one that you wiped the floor with.
Owen refused to battle and he walked away. So I just walked behind him, spitting my rhymes while he walking away. Yeah.
And how did that feel?
Huh?
Yeah, I can see how it felt.
I mean, it's like, around my neighborhood, people only knew me, by my government name, and they knew me as a kid, but now they see like I'm coming out of my shell and I'm being real outspoken and, I'm, serious about this rap thing.
Yeah.
And now I'm not going to block parties, hoping, I can just, do the Smurf on some little cute little girl and whatnot. I'm going there wanting to, who's the best MC out here?
Right.
Where he at?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Wow. And then what was your first break? What was your first real break?
My first break was 84.
Okay.
Like I've been trying to do it. I got down with a crew, tried to record a song. They wasn't as focused as I was though. So that wasn't happening. Then in 1984, my cousin started dating this guy from Long Island, and he just kept coming around telling me about this rapper named Bismarcky D.
Yeah.
All the time. Bismarcky D this, Bismarcky D that. Then one day he said, Bismarcky D is across the street in the Albee Square Mall. I just bumped into him. I'm like, for real? I'm like, introduce me to him.
Okay.
So when he took me over there, I'm like, all right, now listen, I'm going to ask your man for a battle, all right? When I bust his ass from now on, I don't want you telling me nothing about him. You go to Bismarcky D and tell him about MC Kane, So me and Biz met, we battled.
Everybody take notes. Take notes. This is how you go get the shit that you want, okay?
Yeah. After we battled, Biz was like, yo, you dope, man. Yo, you should get down with me. I be doing shows in Harlem, Bronx, Long Island. Don't be for a lot of money, but I promise if you stick with me, I'm going to get you a record deal. And he kept his word. When he was established in 86 and came out with the Make the Music, he came right back, got me and said, yo, I got an idea for a song called Nobody Beats the Biz.
Yep.
I want to use the slogan from Nobody Beats the Wiz. I need you to write it for me. And I started writing songs for him. And then the following year, I put my own music out.
Wow.
That is so amazing.
That is.
Wow. Bismarcky was another one. I remember after I started having kids, Bismarcky did a spot on this show called Yo Gabba Gabba. Are you familiar with Yo Gabba Gabba?
Yeah.
So we went to this live at the Nokia. We went to the live show and Bismarcky came out as a surprise. And I damn near screamed. It surprised me.
Yeah.
So
no, I went to
so
see
dope.
him when they was on the Yo Gabba Gabba tour. I took my son.
Oh,
to see him
yeah,
too.
that was dope. Yeah, it was good fun. Well, we're going over on time, and we should appreciate you. Yeah, we're done here.
I don't know. I feel like I could just sit and listen to stories for hours, man.
Admittedly, it's hard to, we're working on a different workflow because the Kane is sitting right next to me, and I'm not, used to having a studio.
It's a wild band. What's it like having them right there, though? Seriously, I mean, you can tell me this after the show.
It's distracting. I forget that you're there.
So I'm like, we're both like big fans too, but like, it's a different dynamic when you're in the studio, and this is cool. I just want to hear you talk about Biz.
I have so much respect for Samantha. So knowing that I was coming to LA, I thought it would be great, to actually be in house.
That is awesome.
Make it more intimate, Yeah.
Samantha is actually she's one of my favorite comedians. I don't know that I've ever said this on our show, but she's one of my favorite comedians. She's very smart. She's got great timing. She's got great material. And we actually met when you were talking about how you came up and started becoming a rapper. It reminded me about how when I met Samantha, I actually was a comedian from San Francisco who moved down to Los Angeles, and we did like a battle. We did a battle, like a roast battle comedy show. It was San Francisco versus LA, and Sam was my host that night, and that was where we connected. Was at a battle. Now, comedian battles don't make careers like rap battles, apparently.
Nah, they funny as hell, man. I used to love that stuff with like Don Rickles and Dean Martin and all that. I loved that type of stuff when they going at each other.
You're a comedy fan. You frequent the comedy clubs when they're
Yeah. I love unique comedians.
Yeah. Okay.
I love like a very unique comedian, like Dave Chappelle, Craig Robinson, Cat Williams, just somebody that does something unique. They just got their own lane, Wanda Sykes as well.
Love her. Yeah. You're actually sitting in a studio, my podcast studio, but this also transforms into a comedy club. You almost made it. Was it like a couple of years ago?
Yeah.
This nigga was gonna come to the comedy club and then showed up in his Maybach, and he was like, where am I supposed to park my Maybach?
When you need to stay down there to just watch his car.
Well, if you ever come back, I'll have a park for your Maybach or whatever it is you're gonna be in.
You crazy.
I'm so happy that you came to do my podcast.
Nah,
I'm so grateful, eternally grateful.
Glad to be here. And nice to meet you too, brother.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you. And thanks for all the music.
All right.
Yeah. Well, this has been another case of the King-Abrams show. You guys, we out.
Straight up, I'm serious.